Your Highness, dear friends, allow me to warmly welcome you to Moscow. Your Highness, the last time you visited us was, I believe, in 2018. A lot of time has passed. We are very pleased to welcome you again in the capital of Russia. Our relations are strengthening. Recently, an intergovernmental commission was held in Doha, and it seems to me it was very beneficial, as it is one of our priority partners overall, and especially in the Middle East. We have a long-standing tradition of good mutual relations. The overall volume of trade is modest, but nonetheless, Qatar is one of the key partners of our leading oil and gas company, Rosneft. Through the Russian Direct Investment Fund, more than or about $1 billion have been invested in our economy, and I am sure there are many more prospects. We have many interesting projects, quite enough. We are effectively cooperating in the organization of gas exporters, and I expect that we will have interesting joint projects here. We are actively engaged in the field of humanitarian cooperation. I remember very well how you, Your Highness, personally assisted us in obtaining the right to host the Winter Olympic Games in Sochi. And then everything related to the World Cup, we tried from our side as well, and I think we succeeded in assisting you in organizing the World Cup in your country. We have many other humanitarian projects in the fields of sports and arts. Of course, it would be very important to discuss today the issues related to hotspots. We know that Qatar is making very serious efforts regarding the resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Unfortunately, the initiatives proposed, including by you, Okoninem, have not been implemented, and civilians continue to die in Palestine, which is undoubtedly a tragedy of today, a very serious one. For our part, we also believe, as you do, and here our positions coincide, that a long-term settlement can only be achieved exclusively based on the United Nations resolution. This is primarily related to the creation of two full-fledged states. And in this case, I mean, of course, the creation of a Palestinian state. Well, we also discussed with you the issue of the development of the situation in Syria. This is also of serious importance to us. We would like to do everything to ensure that Syria, first of all, remains a sovereign, independent, and territorially integral state. And we would also like to discuss with you the possibility of providing assistance to the Syrian people, including humanitarian aid. There are many problems there, both political and in terms of security, as well as purely economic in nature. Your Highness, we are very pleased to see you in Moscow. Welcome.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President. First, I thank you for this generous invitation to Moscow. As His Excellency, Mr. President, mentioned, the last visit was several years ago, but communication has always been ongoing between me and His Excellency, as well as between the officials. A few weeks ago, I met with my friend Dennis in Qatar, and there was a joint committee between the two countries where we discussed many issues. We are proud of our relationship with Russia. We talked about ways to develop this relationship, and there are some projects and proposals that will be discussed today. There are also some agreements that will be signed. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the relations are exceptional. His Excellency, Mr. President, mentioned that perhaps the trade exchange is not at the desired level, and I agree with you, Your Excellency, Mr. President. Therefore, the committee must study how we can enhance this trade exchange. We are determined to increase this trade exchange. We are proud of our investments in in Russia, especially with Rosneft and also in some other fields. I know that in the pharmaceutical industry, there will also be a discussion and an agreement to be signed today. The relations, as His Excellency the President mentioned, also extend to other matters, especially in the field of culture. In the field of sports, there is also significant cooperation between us and our friends in Russia in organizing the 2022 World Cup. His Excellency the President mentioned that yes, Russia provided support and we benefited from Russian expertise, especially after the successful organization of the 2018 World Cup here in Russia. There was significant cooperation with Russian friends in Qatar, and they were with us for 4 years. Your Excellency the President, your constant communication to inquire about how Qatar is preparing for the World Cup is also appreciated. And thank God we presented a very impressive model in the World Cup. Your Excellency the President, the cooperation between us continues, especially as Your Excellency mentioned regarding the pressing issues in our region. I believe the tragic situation we are witnessing now in Gaza with the daily killings must come to an end. As you know, we reached an agreement in several months ago, but unfortunately, Israel did not adhere to this agreement. However, as Qatar's role as mediators, we will strive to bridge the gap in perspectives to reach for an agreement that ends the suffering of the Palestinian people, especially in Gaza. And now we also see in the West Bank our position with Russia is firm and clear. There is no peace without an independent Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital on the 1967 borders. This is what we will strive for, God willing. Your Excellency, the President. You also mentioned Syria a few days ago. His Excellency President Hamad al-Shara was in Qatar, and we talked about many, many things. And we also discussed the historical relationship between Russia and Syria, the strategic relationship. And he is keen on building a relationship between the two countries based on respect and also the interests of both peoples. There might be matters we will discuss in this regard. Your Excellency, the President, there is no doubt that we are going through a delicate and sensitive phase in Syria, and it is in our interest and the interest of everyone to support this direction. In Syria, the unity of the land and civil peace. Therefore, Your Excellency, the President, I thank you once again for this invitation, and we always wish the best for the relations between the two countries. Spasiba.